It's a black screen. Soft and familiar, a single piano note rings out. Then one more. The beginning of "The Longer I Serve Him" gradually breaks the quiet. The well-known voice, the powerful baritone that once shook arenas, rises over it. Guy Penrod performing the opening line of "Then Came the Morning" in 1998. The note rises, grips, and shatters the atmosphere. There are 25,000 screams. Nothing after that. Complete quiet. An ear-damaging scrape on a record. Angie Clark is ready to talk for the first time in 40 years of marriage. Written in white on black. Tonight, Angie Penrod Clark breaks her silence about Guy's new life. The life no one saw coming after the diagnosis that changed everything, the narrator says slowly and warmly. It was never Angie Clark Penrod's intention to narrate this tale. For 40 years, she was the mother with 8 children, the quiet smile in the front row, while her husband brought tears to everyone's eyes with a single note. She was the one who homeschooled the kids, packed the bus, canned the peaches, and never once voiced dissatisfaction while Guy continued to be the center of attention. Then, in June 2025, the doctor's remarks permanently stole the show. Alzheimer's with an early onset. Hostile. There is no remedy. Angie changed from being Guy Penrod's wife to his memory in a single afternoon. She transformed their Tennessee farm into a loving stronghold. Every wall has pictures. Each drawer has a label. Every door has an alarm to prevent him from wandering. Knowing that one day those films would be the only way to bring him home, she began shooting him every day while he sang half-remembered hymns and spoke old memories. He refers to her as the nice lady who makes coffee when he gets up on certain mornings. Unaware that the young boys had grown up years ago, he occasionally inquires as to where they have gone. On certain days, he recalls everything and embraces her as if they were 20 years old. Nevertheless, she chooses happiness every day. For the grandchildren, she grins. When his voice loses the words, she begins to sing. Even if his feet are no longer familiar with the movements, she continues to dance with him in the kitchen. On the days when her sorrow seems greater than the house, she goes outside, gazes at the same sunset they saw the night he proposed, and murmurs the vow she made the day they received the diagnosis. We'll do this together. Each day, as usual. Guy Penrod's new life is this. Stages that are quieter, smaller groups of people. An arena is replaced by a porch swing. But it's the same, huge love. Angie never requested to be in charge of his recollections. She never asked to be the one to complete his sentences, remind him of who she is, and comfort him when he feels afraid, because the world he created is disappearing. However, she appears each and every day. She picks him once more, once more, once more. When the lights go out and the music stops, that's what 40 years of marriage looks like. It appears to be Angie Clark Penrod, who is still in the front row, grinning, holding his hand, and keeping track of the rhythm even when he is unable to. Nobody authored this conclusion for them. However, it's their romantic tale. It's also lovely. Continue to pray for them. Continue to love as Angie does. Love is the only song that remains on certain days, and it's still sufficient. Guy Penrod was enormous if you were exposed to evangelical music as a child. A voice that could transport you to heaven on a Tuesday night, long hair, and a large beard. He won Grammys, sold out arenas, performed with the Gaither vocal band for 14 years, and transformed "Then Came the Morning" into a tune that still makes people cry 30 years later. However, every great man has a wonderful woman behind him. And for Guy, that woman was Angie Clark. She was 19, and he was 21 when they first met at Liberty University in 1983. "God just told me you're going to be my wife," he remarked as he approached her directly after spotting her across the cafeteria. She told him he was insane while laughing. 2 years later, in 1985, they were married in a small church in Lynchburg, Virginia, with a dream bigger than the mountains and $50 in their pockets. 8 children, 7 boys and 1 girl, were nurtured on a tour bus before moving to a lovely farm outside of Nashville. Every night ended with the whole family singing around the kitchen table. Sundays were spent at church, and weekdays were spent traveling to school. They were referred to as the ideal gospel family. Nothing seemed to be able to touch them. The golden age life seemed to be one continuous resurrection during those times. With his red blazer gleaming in the lights, the guy on stage was hitting notes that made grown men cry, smiling as if she had the best seat in the house. Angie was in the front row. Beside her, 8 small faces were arranged in a line, singing each harmony from memory. Following the performances, the family would cram themselves onto the bus, with the children dozing off on their shoulders and Guy operating the vehicle, while Angie distributed peanut butter sandwiches. No matter where they went in the world, they never missed a Sunday church, celebrated birthdays in hotel rooms with Walmart sheet cakes, and homeschooled while traveling. The Tennessee property, complete with cows, chickens, and a large porch where Guy would sit with his guitar and compose songs while Angie canned peaches and the children chased fireflies, became their haven. They appeared to be unbreakable. The initial indications: it was so little at first that no one wanted to mention it aloud. 2024. Guy is 79 years old and still has a good voice. But in the middle of the song, he begins to forget the lyrics. Even though his guitar pick is right next to his foot, he can't find it after dropping it. Refers to the children by incorrect names. He asks, "Angie, who is that pretty lady singing with me?" as he leaves the stage after "Knowing You'll Be There" one evening in Atlanta. When they arrive to the bus, Angie sobs in the restroom to keep the children from hearing, but she laughs it off in front of everyone. Visits to the doctor begin, tests, waiting, additional testing. Angie continues to upload joyful family photos and smile for the cameras, but on the inside, she is praying more than she has ever prayed. June 2025 is the diagnosis day. June 15, 2025, the entire family is flown back to the farm. The grandchildren, all 8 children, and their spouses. There is silence at the kitchen table that has witnessed 40 years of birthdays and breakups. Guy always sits at the head where the doctor is seated. He doesn't sugarcoat it. Alzheimer's with an early onset, hostile, stage that is already moderate. Guy holds Angie's hand so tightly that her fingers turn white while he listens with a composed expression. "I'm forgetting things, but I'll never forget you," Guy says steadily as he looks around the table at all the faces he loves after the doctor is done. God is still good. We remain who we are. Angie gets up, circles the table, and gives each youngster a hug. She doesn't start crying until she's in Guy's arms again. The pledge that will sustain them all is then whispered by her. "We'll do this together." Each day, as usual. The real story and the official story. It appeared straightforward to the outside world. In a video, Bill Gaither says, "Our brother Guy is stepping back to enjoy family and the farm. We shall always love him." Supporters offer prayers, cards, and flowers. The truth is unknown. Angie gives up on everything. No more seminars for women, no more speaking engagements. With photographs on every wall, labels on every drawer, and alarms on every door, she transforms the farm into a palace of memories. Every day she begins to record short videos of Guy recounting events from his past and singing little passages of songs. This way, when the time comes for him to forget, they may play them back and take him home for a short while. The quiet battle. The days become silent and challenging. Most of the time, Guy still knows Angie, but occasionally he wakes up terrified because he has no idea where he is. On certain evenings, he searches the hallway for the kids who grew up long ago. Every time he moves, Angie awakens from her one-eyed sleep. She sings the old hymns when he can't find the words, cooks his favorite dishes even when he forgets to eat, and smiles for the grandchildren. On Instagram, she shares kind updates, porch sunsets with boyfriend holding her hand, and captions like "Love doesn't forget," and "Still my Guy." However, she sobs by herself in the car till nothing is left. November 2025. The turning point, November of 2025. An exceptionally pleasant day. Guy awakens with clarity and recalls every song and name. They used to watch the children play while sitting on the porch swing. The air is chilly and the leaves are red and gold. "I know I'm going somewhere you can't follow yet," Guy says, taking Angie's hand. "However, I need a pledge from you. You continue to live even when I no longer know your name. You can't stop laughing. You continue to be the strongest lady I've ever met." Despite her tears, Angie makes a commitment. It's time to confess the truth, she decides that evening. Angie speaks up in an exclusive interview the current day. They reared 8 children in the same kitchen where Angie sits, soft light, steaming coffee. She speaks for the first time about the new life they never requested while staring directly into the camera. People believe that Alzheimer's takes your loved one away all at once. It doesn't. It takes them in fragments. He will eventually recognize my face, but not my name. He will eventually recognize the songs, but not the children who sung them. What it cannot take, though, is love. That remains in place, each and every day. We now laugh more. More often, we hold hands. On certain days, it may be the final time we say, I love you. Our new life is this. It's not as loud. It's more difficult. However, there is more love than ever. Angie's final words. Angie, who has been in the front row for 40 years, smiles through tears. You're not alone. Every family traveling this path. Savor the happy times. Put the stories in writing. Take the photos. Even if the voice forgets the words, still sing the songs. The world learned how to sing about Jesus thanks to Guy Penrod. He is now teaching us how to love in the face of uncertainty about the future. Continue to pray for us. Continue to love one another. And continue to serve him longer. For even on the most difficult days, he grows sweeter the longer I serve him. Then came the morning, is softly played on the piano, and Angie silently triumphs by raising her hand. Y'all, see you tomorrow.